What's up guys, Pete here from the Sundae Drive. Now typically if you've seen our videos, you would know that we do car related stuff. However, I'm also quite a big camera junkie and I love getting new tech and new gear. So that's why today we're going to be doing an unboxing of the Flashpoint Zoom lithium-ion powered TTL capable flash. Another brand that is very similar to this is Godox, but basically it's a budget flash and it gives you tons of capabilities. So we're going to unbox it and go through the menu system. So stay tuned. Alright, let's take a look at what comes on and in this box for the Flashpoint Zoom Lion TTL flash with R2 transceiver for Canon. Now, come to this side and we can see that this has a GN or guide number of 127. Now the guide number is a number that they use to represent the power of a flash. The higher the guide number, the more powerful it is. 127 is a pretty decent number. That's pretty much saying that it can do 127 feet at 200mm zoom, or the full zoom of the flash, at ISO 100. So as you up the ISO, that will also increase this guide number. It's claiming to get about 650 full power flashes per charge. Now I can't really say whether or not that claim is accurate, but that is the number that they provide you with. Typically people don't really use it to shoot full power all the time, so you'll probably get more out of it, but your mileage may vary. Another big thing here is it's compatible with the Canon TTL system and all of its TTL modes. On the right hand column, you can see that it has a zooming head. The zooming flash head ranges from 20mm to 200mm, but if you use the built-in flash diffuser, that should give you 14mm of spread. Another convenient thing is that it's backwards compatible with the Flashpoint R1 system, so if you don't have an R2, that's okay, it will still work. And the flash head has a 360-degree rotation and 90-degree plus tilt. Also, it claims that the color of this flash is around 5600K, plus or minus 200K. Now 5600K is pretty much the standard in the industry, and that is supposed to represent the sun in the middle of the day. It has a backlit matrix LCD and the colors change between green and red, which I'll show you. And yeah, so let's open the box up and see what you actually get. So, first thing you'll be greeted with is this instruction manual. Lots of little tips. There's some fun tidbits of information if you find them. For instance, do not store illegal substances in this flash's battery compartment. So, thank you for that, Flashpoint. All right, let's look in here. This is the protective case for the flash, and the flash is in it. Boom, right here. Here's the goods. In this carrying case is a stand. So you can prop it up, or you can mount it to a screw hole. Next up, we have the lithium-ion battery that we've heard so much about. Now, this is a 2000 milliamp hour battery, and this is supposed to give you 650 shots. After that, they obviously give you a battery charger with a little forward, thank you for purchasing. So here's the stand. All you do is pop it in, and there you go. It also comes with the cable right here. And that's all you get in this box. So now let's go over the flash. Number one, first thing I want to note is the first time I slid this into the stand and I unscrewed this a little bit, the locking nut, it still did not want to come out. I had no idea why, and I really struggled with it. Turns out that this screw also controls a locking pin. So you need to make sure it's all the way up, and then it will just come off. If you look here, right by my finger, as I turn this nut, that pin extends. There you go. Pop that baby in and turn it on. And you can actually hear the motor reset to its default position when you turn it on. That's actually how Zoom works, by the way. The flash moves forward and backwards in this head to control the spread of the beam. Something to note is, it starts at 24mm zoom, even though it goes as wide as 20mm zoom. And if you pull out the built-in diffuser, you'll see that it goes to 14 millimeters. Now, I'm not really a huge fan of these diffusers, but if you do use it, make sure that you push it in all the way. Now, as you can see, it's kind of in right now, but the flash is still registering that it's out at 14 millimeters. So you really have to get that audible click to make sure that it deactivates that diffuser. Also, to put the zoom in automatic mode, hit the zoom button and go over to these 3 dashed lines. You'll see the M turned into an A. This 3 dashed lines won't actually start working until the flash is at 90 degrees. Now, when you look at the display, you'll see 28 millimeters. As soon as you change the angle of the flash to not be 90 degrees anymore, it disables the zoom. Next, we can cycle through our different modes. So right now we're in ETTL mode, which is what Canon uses for its exposure compensation. You can actually change the exposure compensation yourself by adding or subtracting in 1/3 stops. If you hit mode again, now you're in full manual mode. So you're at 1/1 full power. You can go down in 1/3 stops all the way to 128. Hit mode again, and now you're in multi-modes, which is the stroboscopic mode. And this allows you to specify how many shots you want to shoot and at what frequency. So right here will be 8 at 5 Hertz. If you push the test button, you can test it out. That was 8 shots right there. You can change this frequency by hitting the Hertz button, and that'll increase the frequency that it shoots. So if we do 14 Hertz, you can hear it. Now the manual does say to be careful with using stroboscopic, and it also specifies that you have to let this cool down for at least 15 minutes if you use it consecutively for 10 times. So be careful with that. Multi is how you change the number of shots that the flash shoots. So here will be 2 at 14 Hertz. So let's go back to ETTL. Here we have the zoom button, which I showed you earlier. So you can change the zoom all the way up to 200 millimeters and all the way down to 20, and then 14 when the diffuser is pulled out of the head. Next is the exposure compensation for ETTL. And then FEB is the flash exposure bracketing. So this allows you to do bracketed shots with your flash if you're not really sure which brightness you're going to want to prefer and you want to get a couple shots in with different varying flash brightnesses. Sync will allow you to turn on high-speed sync mode, and will also allow you to use second curtain. So this is good for slow shutter speeds when you want to kind of capture motion with the light, like a trail of light. And then high-speed sync will allow you to shoot up to 1/8,000th of a second, as opposed to the normal flash rate of 1/250th of a second. You can keep this on and will only activate automatically when you go over the speed that regular speed sync is capable of doing. If you hold down the mode button, it'll actually lock the flash so that any buttons or the dial don't affect the settings. Also, this far right button that's considered a wireless signal according to the book. Push that and it will take you to the pairing mode. So you can set this as master, but you can also set it as a slave. To do that, you just hit this again, and now the red screen is when the flash is in slave mode. You can also change its zoom while it's in slave mode. So I'll put that back at 20. And you can change the exposure compensation. But depending on how many flashes you have, you can do groups A, B, C. So we'll go back to A. And you can also change the channel. So you have up to 4 channels and 3 groups. And there's ratios too. So if you want to have a 1:1 or 1:2 for the A-B flashes, you can control the ratios between the 2 of them. And then you can even add in a 3rd flash, C, and for that you control the automatic exposure compensation. And if you hit the zoom button and hold that down, here you can change the settings from meters to feet. APO is auto power off, so you can specify if it should turn off automatically or stay on. FEB auto cancel is if you're doing bracketed shots, it'll turn off automatically after the 3rd shot that it fires. So if we if we go back and go to FEB, say we have it at +1 exposure, and that 1 is counting the number of shots until we get to 3. After the 3rd shot, it'll go back to standard shooting mode and the FEB will be canceled out. So back into the settings. It also allows you to control how the FEB setting works. If you prefer, you can start at the 0 exposure and then go to the minus exposure compensation and then the plus bracket. You can also have it start at the minus exposure, go to the baseline exposure, and then go to the positive exposure. So it really depends on what you prefer. Here we have autofocus assist with the laser, or the IR, so you can turn that on or off. And SVAPOT is for slave auto power off. So you can specify if it stays on for 30 or 60 minutes in slave mode. Beep is exactly what you think it is. Turn the beep on, it beeps. And then the light, you can specify for it to be on for 12 seconds, off, or permanently on as long as the unit is powered on. Now the flash does also have automatic over temperature protection, and in the manual it shows you some numbers of what to expect. So if you're shooting at 1:1 power, it's saying that 15 shots in high-speed sync mode will trigger the over temperature. Now if you're not in high-speed sync mode, then 30 shots at 1:1 power will activate the over temperature protection. So high-speed sync actually shoots the flash in a different way, and that's why the numbers are lower for the overprotection. Now a major highlight of this flash is the fact that it has the R2 transceiver built right into it. Now that means it can function as a master and control other flashes, but if you'd like to use it as an off-camera slave and you don't have any other flashes, you can use the R2 Flashpoint Pro-C TTL transmitter. This one's for the Canon. I can confirm that this works. It has the same R2 transceiver. The flash is backwards compatible with the R1 transceiver, so if you have that, don't worry. A cool feature that I found out about is if you press down on the depth of field preview button, which is down here on the Canon, it'll actually put on a modeling light for the flash. So if you hold it down, it'll keep the light on for a couple seconds, just so you can see how the light's going to reflect off the subject or off of the environment. So I'm gonna be a little nitpicky about the case for a second. I just really wish that it had a belt loop on the back, so that way I could loop it to myself, or I could loop it off of a bag so that I could hang. If this looks familiar, it probably looks identical to the Godox 860 flash if you've been looking at that. This is basically just a rebranded unit that is sold by Adorama. Godox is sold by B&H, so they're pretty much the same. I gotta say, this is really good build quality. It's a good looking flash. It's very solid, very sturdy, well put together. Definitely worth the $180 that I purchased this for online. If you found this video to be helpful, please give us a big like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.